are now on block 3 of topic 5, which is on page 143 in your workbook. First thing we're going to talk about our pregame pep talk here. Does anyone have a friend or a relative who lives in a different time zone? Raise your hand. If you have, where do they live, Braden? Colorado. So it's a different time right now in Colorado. Orlando is a different time right now. Where do you have? Tennessee. Maybe parts of Tennessee is in a different time zone. California is for sure in a different time zone.
I don't know where he lives, but his time is about 1 hour before us.
Okay, don't know where they live, but about 1 hour before us. Chris, what you got? Canada has a different time zone. All of Canada or parts of it? Parts of it, I believe. Where are you?
Arizona.
Arizona has a different time zone. Anybody have someone out of this country? Where? Mexico, parts of Mexico. Germany for sure has a different time zone. Where? Australia for sure. Okay. How does that impact communication and television broadcast? How does different time zones affect that?
Maybe like what time, like maybe a show that would come on?
Okay, so what time a show comes on? So if I'm watching a show that is coming on at 9 o'clock, is it playing in a different time zone at that same time in the United States? It's playing at that exact second, but is it 9 o'clock in that other time zone? It's a different time, but the show is still playing at the exact same second we're watching it.
It might be like 8:30.
Right. So you ever watch TV and it says, watch this show at 9 or 8 Central or something like that, and it says 2 different times, and you're like, well, I don't know which one I am.
Pacific Standard Time is like a different country.
Okay, so Central is us, and he says Pacific Standard is a different country. We're going to kind of take a look at that. Has anyone ever seen time reported with this notation?
Yes.
Ever seen it right? Sometimes on TV when they do say, watch the show at this time or this time, sometimes they'll record it like that, but not always. So that's what we're going to look at first, is time zones. So here we have a globe that has been flattened out. And someone way back in time had taken this globe and created the different time zones. So these white lines here is dividing where the time is changing to a different time. So what letter time zone do we live in? It looks like we live here, and that is in S, right? Okay. This is the United States right here and parts of Mexico. So the United States has 1, 2, 3, 4. Alaska's part of the United States, so that's 5 time zones. And then here's Hawaii, which is part of the United States. So just the United States has 6 different time zones divided. Why do I have to have different times set for the whole globe? Because if it's 10 a.m. here, why can't it just be 10 a.m. everywhere? Alicia?
I think it's because the Earth is tilted and like sometimes it's dark in a different place when it's light over here and they can't have the same time.
Okay, so the Earth is a ball, right? And the earth turns. Does the sun move?
No.
As when the earth is turning, that side that's not facing the sun, is it daytime?
No.
So we can't call it daytime on this side when the sun's on the other side of the earth. When it turns, then we can call it daytime. Okay? So we had to come up with a different time. Right here, this red dash line, that's the international date line. So when you cross, when that line turns and hits that line, it's changed to the new date. Like, that's how you know that. So, some people are already on tomorrow, right? Technically, right at this second. And some people are all kind of on yesterday in a date kind of world. That's kind of weird to think about, huh? Huh? Yeah, you kind of can travel in time. So when you're in an airplane going far away, you're kind of sometimes traveling back in time or back into the future.
I want to do that now. I was watching that.
Okay. So we have that. Here, they created the time zones using an integer line or number line. And what they did is they called zone Z 0. They put it as 0. And that's the center of the globe. So that marks 0. The time in the center of the globe, the Z, is called Coordinate Universal Time, UTC. Or they call it Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. They call it both ways. So they said moving to the right of zone Z, is it adding or subtracting time? It is moving to the right is adding time. So it's making it later in the day. Moving to the left is subtracting, making it earlier in the day. Okay. Where did we say we live? What letter? S. That answers question 1. It says, where do we live? We live in S. What integer would that represent in our time zone? So what integer is S representing on this number line? -6. So both of those answers is for number 1. S and -6. Okay, let's look at this some more. Well, first, before we get to this question, at what time does it switch to the new day? 12 what?
A.M.
A.M., which is midnight, right?
Yes, ma'am.
12 p.m. is just noon. 12 a.m. is midnight, and that's when the new day happens, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So our first question, well, reading the statement here first, says you can see that when it is 12 p.m. right here at 0, so we're 12 p.m. right here. In Egypt, they said it would be 2 p.m. How is it 2 p.m. to Egypt? Well, they're how many time zones away? 2 time zones away. If it's noon here, it would be 1 here and then 2 in Egypt, right? Okay. Also, if it's noon at the UTC, right here at 0, it would be 7 a.m. in New York. Well, noon, am I going, when I'm headed towards the negative, am I going earlier in the day or later in the day?
Earlier. So it's
Earlier. So this is noon. This would be 11 a.m., 10, 9, 8, 7 a.m., right? Okay, so that's how that is calculated using our time zones. So looking at our first question, or actually question 2, when it is noon at UTC, at 0, what time is it in California? Well, is it going to be earlier or later in the day?
Earlier.
So if it's noon right here, we're looking for California. This would be 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, what? 4 a.m. So question 2 is 4 a.m. Question 3 says, pretend you live in Colorado and it's 9 p.m. and you want to call your aunt in Argentina. We need to know what time it's going to be in Argentina. So we live in Colorado, right? And what time is it? 9 a.m. And I need to call my aunt in Argentina. Is she ahead of me in time or behind me in time? Ahead. So 9 a.m., 10, 11, 12, 1 what?
PM.
1 p.m.
So it should be 1 a.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. It said 9 p.m. in the question. So what time is it for her? 1 a.m. So is she going to be happy that you called her at 1 a.m.?
No.
Probably not, because she probably was sleeping.
Unless she really, really, really loves you.
Yeah. I really, really love people, but when they wake me up, I'm still
I know, right?
not very happy.
I mean,
I'm cranky.
if she called me on the weekend, I'd be fine with it. 'Cause I'm
Me
staying
neither.
up
I'm
all
never
night.
happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, so yesterday we used integer pieces to help us work math problems. That's one method, and if you like that method, that's great. Today we're using number lines to help us solve math problems. So when you get to a math problem, do you have to use a certain method?
No.
No, you use the one that you like the best, right? I personally like the number line method that is my favorite. But your favorite might be the integer pieces. Does not matter. Alright, so we're going to see how the number line works for our problems. And we're going to do some easy problems just so we can see how it works. So this is 4A in your book. So you should be looking at 4A. In problem 4A, wants us to demonstrate 6 plus 4 using the number line. Well, we're smart and we already know what that answer is, right? What's it going to be? 10. Okay? So, but we want to demonstrate how the number line works. Stop talking across my room. So, where should he skate to first? Positive or negative?
Positive.
He's going to skate to positive 6 first. So on your number line, I want you to draw an arrow just like mine. It starts at 0 and it goes to 6. And label that line with a 6 because that's how long the line is. Then the math problem tells him to skate some more. Is he going to skate to more positive way or head back negative way?
Positive.
Positive.
No. Positive.
He's going. What's telling you to head negative way?
Oh.
There's no negative.
There's no negative, so I need to. I'm adding, but sometimes I can add negatives. So that.
Negative here.
But what am I headed positive or negative?
Positive.
I'm heading more positive way. So how much more positive way?
4.
So I'm heading 4 more spots. So I'm going to draw a line that starts at 6 and goes to 10. And And I would circle 10 or put a star by 10 because that's our final answer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that is how our integer lines work, our number lines. So I should have 2 arrows drawn, and they added up and gave me a final answer of 10. Okay, let's take a look at another problem. B says we have -4 plus a -2. Where's he skating to first? -4. Is he going to turn around and head positive way, or is he going to continue heading negative way?
Continue heading negative.
How many more spots negative?
2.
Okay, let's see what he does. He's a good skater. He goes to 4, then goes 2 more spots. So I need my 2 arrows drawn. And what should I circle or star as my final answer? -6. I think it was this next one that played right off the bat, didn't it? I might have to pause it. Okay. What is this, C?
Yes,
We have -6 plus 6. What direction is he heading first?
ma'am. Negative.
Negative way, and he's going negative way 6. Is he going to continue heading negative way, or is he going to turn around and head positive? He's turning around and headed positive. Okay? Well, where do you think he's going to end up?
0.
Why? What definition tells us?
Because they're both the same, and like since it's negative at the beginning, like it's kind of like making it go to 0 because it goes to -6 and it goes 6 back and then it goes straight back to 0.
Good. And what definition, vocabulary words do we call that?
0 pairs.
0 pairs. You were about to say something.
Additive inverse.
Additive inverse. And there's another term that starts with an O.
Oh.
That they are. Opposites. Very good. This is what all definitions, additive inverse and opposite. So our number lines should be drawn like that. And we did end up at 0. Okay. Is that C in your book?
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
on D now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. D says 6 plus a -8. What direction is he headed first?
Positive.
Positive. Okay. Is he going to continue positive direction, or is he turning back and headed negative direction? Okay. What told you he's turning back headed negative way? The negative sign. Okay, so he skates to a +6. Does he go all the way back to a -8?
No.
Why didn't he go all the way back to a -8? We had a positive number first, so he really stopped at a -2. I would also like you to draw these arrows for your notes to know that when you're adding a positive number, you're going to the right. When you're adding a negative number, you're going to the left. So draw those arrows that way in case you forget. That's our directions there. See if you can work, what letter are we on? E. See if you can work E by yourself and we'll check it. So we're gonna have Archie solve this problem for us. He first skates to -7. Then he goes positive direction and he stops where? At a 1. Alright. We are now on F, correct? And F says, write a generalization for adding integers. Anyone know what that word generalization means?
Basic, like a simplified version of what we're talking about.
Very good. So, if I read a little book and I ask you, give me a generalization of the book, what are you going to give me?
Explain how the book.
Are you going to read the whole book to me?
No.
What are you going to do?
Summarize it.
You're summarizing it. So generalization just kind of means summarize. So it says we need to write a generalization for adding integers. What happens when you add a positive number? So when I'm adding a positive number, what happens to my answer?
It increases.
It increases.
It gets a positive answer.
Do I always get a positive answer?
Because you could be at -10 and add just 3 and you get to -7.
So when I'm adding a positive, generally, what is happening? The number is getting larger. When I'm adding a negative, generally, what's happening? The answer is getting smaller. So Archie's going to show us here. When he goes to the positive, the number gets larger. When he goes towards the negative, the answer gets smaller. So I can write positives. Adding positives increases the sum. Or I can say adding positives, I get a larger answer. Adding negatives, I get a smaller answer. That is for F. All right, let's look at problem 5. I'm going to do the first one with you on problem 5, then let you try some. We always start at 0. So I'm starting with this bottom line. And how long is that bottom line? 5. It is representing a positive or a negative 5? Positive 5. Then this top line is representing how much?
-4.
The final answer, I agree, is -4.
But you're going back.
But I asked, what is this line representing? -9. -9 is what that line is representing. Then in this bottom box, they want me to write the math problem. Well, what did we look at first? 5 plus what? -9, and what does it equal? -4, because I stop on -4. Try the next 2 problems just like that. All right, let's take a look. Again, we start at 0, so I'm starting right here. So this top line is what I need to start with. How long is this? Well, first, what direction is it heading? Positive or negative? So I know it needs to say negative. How long is the line? 9. So that would be a -9. Then this bottom line, is it going to be headed to positive direction or negative direction? So it's going to be a positive number. How long is the line? The line is 6 long. And it gave me an answer of what?
-3.
So -3. So my problem, you start at 0. Here's the line that starts at 0. What first happened?
You went to negative.
-9. Then we added what?
6.
A +6, and it gave me -3. Okay, the next one. I've got to find the line that starts at 0. Is the top or the bottom starting at 0? The top. Is it headed positive or negative?
Positive.
So it's going to be a positive. How long is the line? 9. The bottom line, is it headed positive or negative way?
Negative.
So it's going to be a negative, and how long is that line? 9. So -9. And where did I stop? 0. So we started with a positive 9 plus a negative 9 equals 0 would be my math problem. Okay, we're going to skip problem 6 for right now, go into problem 7. And we're taking a closer look at this problem. How long is the arrow that represents the integer 5? How long is that arrow? 5 units long. So that's your number 7, part of your number 7. Then it asks, how long is the arrow that represents -9? How long is that arrow?
-4.
Can we measure something and it be negative?
No.
It asked how long it is.
9 units.
It's heading in what direction? So that's not my answer. How long is the line? 9 units long. The negative told me a direction. That's not what the question asked. It wanted to know how long it was. Said in this case, the length of the arrow is different than what it said. The arrow said it's -9, but we know it is a positive 9. Why do we say it's two different things? I just went over that. Why did I say its length is a positive 9 when it says that the line is a -9?
Because you can't measure anything in negative.
You can't measure in negatives. So what I want you to write for that is I want you to write positive and negative tells me what direction to go. It does not tell me how long something is. So that's what you're writing. Positive and negative tells me what direction to go. All right, what number was that? 8. All right. Get back on my track here. I skipped a number. 9. It was on here. 9. What is that definition that means distance from 0? And no matter what direction, it gives me a positive answer. What is that definition, vocabulary word?
0.
Absolute value.
Absolute value. Number 9. Absolute value. Tells you how to spell it up here on the board. It gives you a long paragraph. All you need is absolute value. 10. We're really not going to write anything for problem 10. We're just going to look at it. I start at positive 6, right? And I end where? At 10. How does a 6 go to a 10? By adding 4. So that's what they're going to show here. I got to a 6 by adding 4 units. It being positive told me, what did it tell me? What direction to go. I went more to the positive way and I ended at 10. So looking at the next problem that's on problem 10, I have a -4 plus a -2. How does a -4 get to the ending of a -6? Adding a -2. What did the negative tell me? What direction to go? I needed to go more left to end up at a -6. Am I counting -2 spots? I'm counting 2 spots, but I'm going in the negative direction. So that kind of summarizes number 10. There's nothing for you to actually write. Then lastly, problem 11, right? It's called 11?
Yeah.
All right, 11. I have 2 points that I have to put on the number line. And they want me to put these points 8 units away from 6. Raise your hand, where can I put one of these points?
14.
I can put one of them at 14. Is that the only
No, ma'am.
spot that is 8 units away?
No, ma'am.
Where is another spot? -1. -2. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I ended at -2. This one was 8 that away. Check. I was right. So looking at, you needed to add those 2 dots to your number line. Now I have to represent the math problem. So this first section here, I started at 6. Did I head positive way or negative way?
Negative.
So how many negatives?
-8.
I did 8 spots in the negative direction. And where did I end?
-2.
-2. Okay, this other problem, I headed in what direction? Positive. How many spots?
8.
8. And where did I end?
14.
4. Oops, typo. Check it. I'm good. And that is how we kindly use the number line. Who likes the integer pieces best? Who likes the number line best? All right, half and half. It doesn't really matter. Okay. There's no workbook homework. There's some online homework. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and peace out, home dogs.